As we close out our discussion on the New Covenant, or what we can call the so-called New Covenant, yes, Jeremiah does call it the New Covenant, but it's not a brand new covenant, as we saw. The idea that the law would be internalized, obviously, that is not something that's new to the New Covenant. Yes, the law was always supposed to be internalized. The law was to be on the people's hearts. The main difference is the instrumentality of that internalization, and that is under the New Covenant we're going to see that God is taking responsibility for writing it on the hearts of the people. The same expectations of obedience apply. The same expectation of how the covenant functions within the life of the people still applies. It's just a matter of God internalizes it. And this is the idea. The covenant is has never been an external thing in which God is trying to change the people from the outside in. No, the covenant has always been the Torah. These words, as we saw in the Shema in Deuteronomy, are to be on the people's hearts. It is to create an inside-out obedience and lifestyle that is consistent between the two covenants. It's just that God now takes it into His hands, and that is where the work of the Holy Spirit comes in that we now have the law written on our hearts, so that we have been supernaturally changed to be able to do what is required. So that's the main issue here, is we're talking about the issue of covenant, and with the covenant, of course, still comes the expectations of loving God and loving others. These are the demands of justice and righteousness, or righteousness and justice, if we want to use in that order, that have always been a part of the covenant and covenantal expectations of the people. And it is what we see when Jesus comes on the scene, and he says the greatest of the commandments is love the Lord your God. It's from Deuteronomy, and to love your neighbor as yourself, which is from Leviticus, and that is summarizing the covenantal expectations of the people, a responsibility to God and a responsibility to others. We have those same covenantal responsibilities under the New Covenant. We are to love God and we are to love others. If you read the New Testament and you don't pick up those two things, you're missing a lot of what the New Testament's all about. The difference now is that the means by which we can live out our covenantal expectations under Christ have changed. God has internalized it in us and made it a part of who we are. He has written it on our hearts.